Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing the back pages. Of course, it's Sunday morning. Usually we've been doing it Monday because we've had to play Sundays through Europa League matchups being on the Thursday. But back from international break meant we were a Saturday kick-off yesterday, so not too bad. But Celtic, of course, dropping points to the hands of Hibernian over at Easter Road. Celtic are now 11 points behind Rangers. A 4-0 win at Ibrox this afternoon, which just means, panic stations, is it? We'll soon see. We're going to go through the back pages right after the intro. Still very raw with emotion after the game yesterday, and really just the story of Celtic's season. Of course, it's great seeing all the clips of myself on social media. I love it. Free promotion for the channel. As I've always said, any publicity is good. Can't even talk. But you know what I was going to say. You know what I was trying to say. Rangers with a very impressive win this afternoon, demolishing Aberdeen, and Aberdeen weren't even that bad. That's the worst part of it. Rangers were exceptionally good, and that's been the story of their season. The contrast is night and day between the two Glasgow sides at the minute. And ultimately Celtic are in dire need of change, and I've already made my feelings and my thoughts evidently clear on that, but it's not going to happen. We've woke up this morning, Neil Lennon is still Celtic manager, and I suspect it will remain that way for the foreseeable future. I don't know when the board will act and the board will realise there has to be change at Celtic, but it will be sometime soon, maybe. Let's not get our hopes up. First paper we're going to go through is the Sunday Mail, whose back page have a brilliant photo of Neil Lennon, just summing up everything. And he must be feeling it right now. He'll be feeling the heat. He'll be seeing what's been said about him, I imagine, in the media, on social media. He's not oblivious to it all, of course. And you know what? I've said it before, and I'll echo it once more. Neil Lennon's a Celtic legend. Let's not deny that. Anybody else saying he's not is false. But he's in serious jeopardy of tarnishing everything that he's ever done for the club by ruining this season, and some will say it's ruined already. There is already Celtic fans who have completely lost faith and said that's the league over. I'm not quite on that bandwagon yet. It is only November, but the fact it is November and we're 11 points behind, and right now there's more of a conversation of Aberdeen catching us than us catching Rangers, is a worrying sight. We need to hope for a monumental feat, a turn of results, a turn of fortunes. Is it going to happen? But the headline as follows: lazy boys, our attitude has to be better, there's softness about our defence, Brown has had a rush of blood. Of course, Scott Brown, what was he doing yesterday? What was that? The way he went in, rash, stupid. It was just, it just sums up everything in terms of how we've been led this season, both on and off the park. There has been no sense of leadership around there. That mostly comes from the manager. There's been a very big lack of confidence installed in the players, and it's resembling that. These are mistakes that Celtic, and Scott Brown especially, should not be making. He's played the game long enough, he's been captain long enough to realise these mistakes are not acceptable at the highest level, and it will make you drop points. But there you go, lazy boys. Lenny blasts his Celtic strugglers once again. His press conferences for me have been so telling as to whether or not he is the man for the job and the man who can turn this around. He doesn't seem to be accepting any form of responsibility at the minute. And it's crazy. You look at Gary Holt yesterday coming out after their loss to St Mirren. The Livingston manager, saying, look, I need to evaluate myself. I need to look to see if I'm the right man for the job, and if there's someone better, I should go. He came out and bluntly said it in the press conference. He wasn't hiding away from the fact that he's to fault for Livingston's poor form. But Neil Lennon consistently saying the defence is soft, the attitude has to be better. Well, the attitude has to be better, and that has to come from you, Neil Lennon. You need to change that. You're the man in charge. You're the man that makes the decisions, the man who's meant to inspire these boys. You're the manager of the club, for God's sake. And the attitude hasn't changed since the start of the season. And there's only one person to blame for that. The players are clearly not buying into whatever is being trying to be installed at the club. So there has to be change. And Neil Lennon, I don't know what he's been doing in the changing rooms. I don't know what he's been doing in the training grounds. I don't know what he's trying to bring across, but it's not working. And I don't know how many times he's tried to change it, It looks like he hasn't, but if he has, it is not working, and that's what the board need to realise, and the fans have realised. I don't know how more obvious it has to be. Can't face it, Lenny and Celtic skipper Brown are left dejected at Hibs. Neil Lennon branded his Celtic players lazy and told them to wake up after dropping another 2 precious points in the Premiership title race. The champions had to fight back from 2-0 down against Hibs at Easter Road to salvage a draw. Now old firm rivals Rangers can go and have 11 points clear at the top of the table. Look, the players are lazy. We know that. We've seen that. The prime example yesterday was when the penalty was saved and 2 of the defenders, Beaton and Frimpong, are staring at the ball. Ayer, at some points, the man who's brandished by Celtic Daz is the man who doesn't care and doesn't want to be here. He looks like the only guy that cares at times. He ran to the ball, he was frustrated at his teammates for not doing the same. And you look at Beaton and Frimpong, 2 of the most highly praised players at the club at the minute, and still letting us down. And the other story in the back page, title's not just a 2-horse race. Stephen Gerrard is adamant the Premiership title battle isn't just a 2-horse race between the old firm sides. The Rangers gaffer is refusing to rule out Aberdeen and Hibs having a major say in where the league flag will end up. I mean, the way it's going, Hibs could finish above us. Aberdeen could finish above us. So let's not get too, carried away at the fact it should always be old firm teams, because Celtic at the minute look as though they could finish as a 3rd place side. They're that bad. Murphy delivers messages to Celtic fans on loan. Jamie does. Hibs and Rangers a big favour. Getting the first goal, of course, in the game, then this bit with a fantastic finish for the second. Look, everything has been covered, everything has been said. At Celtic look just lost, and we need change. The rest of the back page is going through the games in the Scottish Premiership. Big result for Kilmarnock, picking up a win against Ross County after a poor couple of games beforehand. Dundee United getting big 3 points against Hamilton. St Mirren, perhaps the biggest result of the weekend, with a win after a very barren run of form in Motherwell as well, dropping points at McDermott Park. Look, lazy boys is the headline on the back page. The headline is going to remain that until we get a change at the top. I can guarantee it. I don't see the team now turning it around under Neil Lennon. I really don't, and that's not me saying Rangers are guaranteed to win the title. I'm not chucking it yet, but the chances are very slim to none at the moment that we will pull it back in a convincing manner under Lennon, and the cries are only going to get louder and more persistent as time goes by. We need to make a change. Everybody has to wake up and realise that now there's still so many people trying to defend Neil Lennon, and look, I understand his legacy as a Celtic man, I understand how much the club means to him and how much he means to us, but this is not the time for personal allegiances, and it's not the time for doing favours and all the rest of it. This is serious business. This is 10 in a row we're gambling with here, and right now the cards are firmly in the Govan Globetrotters' hands. And I'm calling them the Govan Globetrotters this time because they are genuinely playing like the Govan Globetrotters. I made the joke back last year that when we were 13 clear and they were crying that the league was given to us, that they would magically become the Govan Globetrotters and turn that around somehow. At the time it seemed unfeasible, it was never going to happen, but now it started this season very, very well, and the stats are scary at the minute, and we cannot hide away from that. The back pages of the Scottish Mail on Sunday. COVID chaos. We're still getting some COVID stories, of course. McInnes slams SFA for poor handling of the under-21s outbreak. Of course, you see the likes of Lewis Ferguson, you see the like of David Turnbull for Celtic, a few more players. I think it's 8 players in total, in fact, having to now self-isolate. And of course, David Turnbull was tested positive after a coach of the under-21s was a positive test as well. So it's true, poor handling, and it just goes to show you, should these international breaks actually went forward? I still don't think so, despite how happy that one just made us by sending this to a major tournament. It's still chaos that it's actually went through, and clubs are paying the price now, and it's really not their own fault. So it's ridiculous. Lennon fury at awful Celtic. Another photo of Lennon looking dejected from the game. Neil Lennon last night branded Celtic's defending as awful and lazy after they dropped another 2 points in the Premiership title race. Lennon was left frustrated after his team's frailties were once again exposed by Hibs, who took a 2-0 lead at Easter Road. For the on-loan Rangers winger Jamie Murphy and Kevin Nisbet, Odsonne Edouard scored a penalty, and a stoppage time strike from Diego Laxalt secured Celtic a point. But although the champions finished strongly, Lennon was left bemoaned the concession of 2 inevitable goals, and with Rangers hoping to Can't be bothered reading anymore. I just can't. I'm sitting here reading that, it's just making me feel dejected myself. Rangers hoping to extend the lead at the top of the table by 11 points as they face Aberdeen at Ibrox, and of course, as we've already said, they are 11 clear with a very convincing 4-0 win over the Dons. Murphy makes his mark. It's the same again. How many times are we going to hear Neil Lennon this season come out and criticise the players, criticise the team being lazy, when it all comes from him? It's the manager. On the park, I understand, and I've always been under the impression, look, from Monday to Friday in the training ground, the manager has a lot of the say what's happening, and when the game kicks off, that's it. The players do the job in the park, and I've always felt saddened for managers who have to take a lot of the blame when players just ultimately aren't good enough or don't turn up. But this is completely different. The press conferences, the news, the rumours, everything that you hear, the media, everything right now is pointing towards negativity for Celtic, and it's all spawning from one place. And that's why it needs to change. But what can you do? That is the back pages. This fine Sunday afternoon, horrible day, miserable day, and I'm sure for Celtic fans it's only going to get more miserable as the weeks go on unless something happens. And I'm fed up of saying this could be the turning point now. We've got a lot of games that we need to just go out and get wins, but will we do it? That's a completely different question. We start with Prague on Thursday, a game which I don't feel so confident for. But you know, we can only go into it and see if we've still chucked Europe, and then we come back to the league, and we need to start picking up 3 points from now. It's now or never, as I said before, but now more than ever. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and really I'm getting to the point where I am lost for words on what to say for the team. I will stick by them through thick and thin. A lot of people in the comments section of my video yesterday said, "Oh, you're slagging the team. You only like us when we're winning. If you don't like us struggling, hurry up and move. But support somebody else." That's not the point. You can't sit through times like this, and that's just a completely deluded point of view to take as a Celtic fan. You have to criticise your team in times like this. You have to be honest. You have to speak. You can't sit and praise what is happening at the moment. And no Celtic fan, whether they've supported them for 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, however long you've been a Celtic fan in your life, you can't sit and pretend things are nice at the moment and things are going to go well, because it's not the case. But a lot of people in the comments yesterday thinking that it's a case of, you know, if you can't support your team times like this, get to. And I've thinking to myself, I am supporting my team during this. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not doing what that one on Twitter done. I'm not. I'm just simply criticising the evident mistakes at the moment, and the inevitable sort of downfall we're going towards. And I'll always support Celtic. Doesn't matter if we're winning or losing, but you can't just pretend it's all okay. It's a madness at the moment. It is. And look, these headlines aren't going to disappear anytime soon. They're not. I'll be surprised if next week. I wouldn't be surprised, next week if we come back and it's the same headlines. That's the reality of the feeling of the camp at the moment. But anyway, if you enjoyed, make sure that like and subscribe. A lot of negativity, of course, at the moment, but what can you do? And I'll see you all next time.